call a bear with no ears?
Bah.
Oh, you guys.
Part of what we do is trying to minimize not only any negative impact, any reaction. And the charter takes off.
So I have made it to Churchill, Canada, which is affectionately known as the polar bear capital of the world, and I am thrilled to be here. For some reason, I never thought that I would be lucky enough to see a polar bear in my lifetime in its natural habitat. So to be here is truly exciting for me. Now, one of the reasons I'm here is because we all hear of climate change and the devastating effects it's having on the Arctic wildlife. So for me, I really wanted to come here to learn all about the polar bears, the climate change and what effects it's having on the polar bears, and what we can do individually to help keep the species alive for generations to come. So I'm going to be spending a week here out on the Hudson Bay area of Churchill. It's November, which is typically the time when the Hudson Bay begins to freeze over, and the polar bears begin their dramatic and exciting adventure out onto the sea ice to hunt their seal and other prey, which is a really crucial part of their survival. So I can't wait to get out there, get stuck in, and to learn as much as I can about what we can do to help and hopefully see some of the big, white, fluffy polar bears. Let's go! So I'm here now with my naturalist guide, Jeremy Covert. Hi, Jeremy.
Hello.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Are you
wonderful.
pumped?
I am pumped. Beautiful day out.
So Jeremy is my naturalist guide for this expedition, and he has a wealth of knowledge about the polar bears. So I thought I'd ask him a couple of quick questions. So we all hear about climate change and the devastating effects it's having on the Arctic areas, and especially the polar bears. Their numbers are declining. How is climate change having an effect on the polar bears?
It is a very complex conversation, but the main effects is a reduction of sea ice, a little bit later date for it forming, and then a little bit earlier date for it melting.
Right. And what does that essentially mean? Are the polar bears missing out on I guess, hunting for their food to keep them alive?
Yes, their primary food, the ring seal in this area, that's the platform that they need to safely and easily get at that. And that is for their own health throughout the year, and then for the formation and healthy development of their cubs.
Okay, and so if these polar bears aren't getting enough food, what can we expect to see?
Will certainly be lower birth rate and then lower birth rate success. And but they are a very intelligent animal that is capable of finding some other sources, but not in all places. Here we have the snow geese, millions of snow geese for them to have access to, and eggs in the nests. But not all polar bear subpopulations of the 19 have those types of opportunities.
Really?
Yes, and so it can be very challenging, and we're seeing bears coming off the ice earlier, which interrupts and disrupts their normal mating pattern.
Climate change is real, and it's happening, and we're seeing the effects out here, and the polar bears are affected. But I did want to ask you this. I know that a lot of people put their they bury their head in the sand. They think climate change is too big of a problem for that individual to make a difference. But what can we do individually? Because we can make a difference. We can help the polar bears.
I think the most important thing is to remain proactive, educate yourself. A wonderful organization, WWF, World Wildlife Fund, is doing a lot to study and working on different programs to assist, especially the bears, but all over the world, and try to remain proactive and not just give up. And personal choices do matter, but also changing the culture of where you live and helping everyone make those personal choices that are better and healthier for the environment.
That's awesome, and I think we can make a difference together. So if we put our heads together collaboratively and also individually, I think there's so much we can do and turn around climate change and combat it, hopefully, for the future generations. So well, we've got some polar bears to see, so we're wasting time here at Churchill. Let's go.
Let's go see the bears.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Let's go see some polar bears, huh?
Let's do it. Then they'll get my attention. I'll pull over. We'll stop.
My dearest Joseph, I guess I made my last mistake.
The hole in the top of the mouth here, going to the Jacobson's organ, which allows
You would never ask.
That's hilarious. We've just spotted I'm crying happy tears. It's incredible. It is a blistering, cold, windy day, and we have come across a cute polar bear just behind us.
One night to be confused, one night to speed up truth. We had a promise made, 4 hands and then away, both under influence. We had differences to know what to say. Mind is a razor blade to cover hands of.
What the Polar Bear Alert Program basically does is we hold the bears for 30 days because that takes them away from the problematic behavior that it ended up coming into the holding facility, whether it be food conditioning or human habituation. And especially this time of the year, it gets that bear 30 days closer to the ice. So these 2 bears in particular were caught in traps right near town. So we held them for 30 days and now we're releasing them further north. So they're going to get on the ice probably within the next 4 to 5 hours after the drug wears off.
How many polar bears do you get coming through here every year?
The population as a whole, it varies based on ice conditions and basically where the bears get off and the overall condition of the bears. So when the bears are in really good condition, meaning that they had a really good year on the ice, they're less apt to go and search for food, right? Because they're living off their overall body conditions. But on average, we handle 45 bears in a year, and we get about 250 calls.
Wow.
In 2016 was a record year for us.
They know that they have a bear capability.
Oh, that's amazing.
And there we have it, 2 successful polar bear rescues. That was incredible. I've never seen anything like that. Those 2 polar bears will be having the time of their life this afternoon when they land back on Hudson Bay, back on the ice, back to being polar bears in a natural habitat. And that was an amazing, amazing rescue effort by the conservation team here. Cool stuff. Well, my time on the tundra has come to an end, sadly, but I'm so happy. I have seen so much and learnt so much, and I finally saw a polar bear in its natural habitat in the wild, and I am so stoked. I've learnt so much on this trip, you know, what we can do to help the polar bears, what we can do to combat climate change, and there is hope. We can make a difference if we come together collectively, if we do things individually. There are ways that we can turn back the clock and help the species of polar bears and other Arctic animals survive. I'll put a link at the end of this video and also in the comments below, so please check it out. Now, if you love polar bears as much as me and you would love to see a polar bear in the wild in its natural habitat, you can join me on my next group mission in Svalbard, Norway in July 2019. I'll be heading out onto the seas on a boat. We'll be checking out the polar bears on the icebergs. It's going to be amazing. There are spaces left, so if you'd like to learn more, send me an email, hello@worldanimalwarriors.org, and I can send you through some information. It's going to be epic. Now, I really hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video as much as I have making it.